My dear sons and daughters, you are warmly welcome to Gurugether educational program conducted by the Ministry of Education hand in hand with National Institute of Education. Now, in the previous lesson, we studied the basic concepts in geometry. As the part 1, you studied angles on a straight line, angles around a point, angles of a triangle, then congruency, and after that angles related to an isosceles triangle. Today I am going to discuss further about some more theorems. I think the last week lesson was very important for you. Then with the continuation of that, I think you will get the best. You will understand the basic concepts further which you studied in grade 10 and 11. Parallelograms. In this parallelogram lesson, now first of all let us understand what is a parallelogram. What is a parallelogram? Parallelogram is a quadrilateral where the two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. That is the concept. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral having 4 sides where the two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. With that basic definition of a parallelogram, let us move on to the characteristics of a parallelogram. First one, in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. This is the first one. When you consider parallelogram, its opposite sides are equal. Now you can see AD is equal to BC. The side AD is equal to BC. Then the side AB is equal to DC. This is the first characteristic. Opposite sides are equal. Let us move on to the another characteristic. Opposite angles are equal. Now as another characteristic of the parallelogram, we can take opposite angles are equal. Now look, ABC angle equal to ADC angle. Opposite angles are equal. Look at the other pair of opposite angles. BAD angle equal BCD angle. Now we have studied two characteristics. Another characteristic, the area of the parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. What is a diagonal? Diagonal is a straight line joining opposite vertices. Now here we can see AC is a diagonal. Another diagonal BD. Now when you draw AC diagonal, what will happen to the area of the parallelogram? Area of the parallelogram is bisected. That is what they give as the third characteristic. The area of the parallelogram is bisected by each diagonal. Look at another diagonal, the other diagonal. The other diagonal is BD. When you draw the other diagonal BD, then also what happened to the area of the parallelogram? Area of the parallelogram is bisected. Then you can say area of the triangle ABD is equal to area of the triangle BCD. Now let us move on to another characteristic. In a parallelogram, diagonals bisect each other. Diagonals bisect each other. Now we will draw both diagonals, AC diagonal and BD diagonal. When you draw both these diagonals, those diagonals bisect each other. That means AC diagonal will bisect BD diagonal. BD diagonal will bisect AC diagonal. That is what they tell as diagonals bisect each other. Look, BP equal PD, AP equal PC. Now you can see how they have illustrated the concept diagonals bisect each other. AP equal PC, BP equal PD. Now these are the four main characteristics of a parallelogram. Now first of all we identified what is a parallelogram. What is a parallelogram? A quadrilateral where the two pairs of opposite sides are parallel. After that we studied four main characteristics of a parallelogram. First one, the two pairs of opposite sides are equal. Second one, the two pairs of opposite angles are equal. Third one, each diagonal bisects the area of the parallelogram. Fourth one, diagonals bisect each other. Now let's move on to another theorem. That one actually converse of what we have already studied. There we are going to prove the given quadrilateral as a parallelogram. There are different ways of proving. This is a common question in the exam paper also. Many times you have to prove a given quadrilateral as a parallelogram. Let's study them one by one. First one, if the opposite sides of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram. That means you can get a quadrilateral. Now it shows ABCD quadrilateral. Then if opposite sides are equal, that means AB equal CD, that should be given. If AB equal CD and if AD equal BC, now they have satisfied the condition that the two pairs of opposite sides are equal. Then we can say ABCD is a parallelogram. Now we can say ABCD is a parallelogram. Okay? Now we will go to another way of proving the given quadrilateral as a parallelogram. Look at it. If the opposite angles of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram. The characteristics what we have studied are used again in the reverse order to prove a parallelogram. If the opposite sides of a quadrilateral are equal, then it is a parallelogram. Again look, ABCD is a quadrilateral. Remember carefully, they haven't given it is a parallelogram. They have told it is a quadrilateral. Then we have to observe the characteristics. In the quadrilateral ABCD, the two pairs of opposite angles are equal. That means ABC angle equal ADC angle. The next pair of opposite angles, BAD angle equal BCD angle. Now the condition is satisfied. The two pairs of opposite angles are equal. Now we can say ABCD is a parallelogram. That is a second way of proving a parallelogram. Look at another one. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. If the diagonals, look at the diagonals. In this quadrilateral, BD and AC are two diagonals. If they bisect each other, means if AO equal OC and BO equal OD. Now diagonals have bisected each other. Now we can tell ABCD is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. Right. Now we have studied three ways of proving a parallelogram. They are just opposite of the characteristics. Earlier we have studied the characteristics. You might understand it is the same but other way around. Now we will go to the next way. In that one they say it is little bit different. It is little bit different, but I am sure my students are aware of this one because this is most commonly used. Look at this one. In a quadrilateral, if a pair of opposite sides equal and parallel, you take one pair of opposite sides if they are equal and parallel. Two conditions should be satisfied. You take a pair of opposite sides, they should be equal and they should be parallel. Now, if they are equal and parallel, then that quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Now, maybe two sides are parallel and other two sides are equal, then we can't apply this rule. If one pair of opposite sides are equal and other pair of opposite sides are parallel, we can't apply this rule. Be careful in this one. If a pair of opposite sides, one pair should be equal as well as parallel. Then only it becomes a parallelogram. Let's look at that. ABCD is a quadrilateral. Still we don't know it is a parallelogram. It looks like, but it is not a parallelogram. We are going to prove it by using the given conditions. In the quadrilateral ABCD, they tell AD equal to BC and the same two sides, opposite sides, AD is parallel to BC. Now we selected AD and BC. They are equal as well as they are parallel. Now if they are equal and parallel, the condition is satisfied. Therefore we can say ABCD is a parallelogram. Okay. Now again let's remind how to prove a parallelogram. There are four ways. First one, if the two pairs of opposite sides are equal, then that quadrilateral becomes a parallelogram. Second one, if the two pairs of opposite angles are equal, then that quadrilateral becomes a parallelogram. Third one, if diagonals bisect each other, then that quadrilateral becomes a parallelogram. And the final and little bit different one, but I am sure my students are well aware of this. If a pair of opposite sides are equal and also parallel, then that quadrilateral becomes a parallelogram. Now I think you have a good understanding about the basic theorems associated with parallelograms. Later on, at the end of the session, I will go for some questions. Therefore, you have to remind them and apply. You can watch this again and again using channel NIE and be a master in this geometrical part. You know, geometry is very important. Therefore, be sure to watch them again and again and establish the concept very well in your mind. Then we will move on to another part of the geometry, that is circles. When it comes to circles, you have been studying about circles from the small grades, but what I am going to discuss now is based on your grade 10 syllabus. In grade 10, in two different lessons, you studied about circles. First one is chords of a circle. Second one is angles of a circle. Now I am going to summarize both these lessons under the circles. Look at the first one. They say the straight line joining the center of a circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to the chord. I think you will remind this. The straight line joining the center of the circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Let's look at the diagram. There is a circle. The center is O. Usually we take O as the center. Then AB is a chord. Now circle is there, center and chord AB. Then X. X is the midpoint. Then how to show that X is the midpoint? You can show that AX equal to XB. Then X become the midpoint. By the diagram, anyone can understand that x is the midpoint. Then join OX. Now go to the theorem again. The straight line joining the center of the circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Now if x is the midpoint, when you join OX, the center to the midpoint of the chord, what will happen to OX and AB? If AX equal XBN, then what will happen to OX? OX become perpendicular to AB. Now I think you got this concept. Again read the theorem. The straight line joining the center, here O represent the center of the circle to the midpoint of a chord is perpendicular to the chord. Okay. Now I think you got it. Okay. We will move on to converse of this theorem. Read it. The perpendicular. Now they have given the perpendicular. The perpendicular drawn from the center of a circle to a chord bisects the chord. Earlier what happened? We drew to the midpoint. Then the line became perpendicular. Now we draw it perpendicularly. Then what will happen to the chord? The chord will be bisected. That means the perpendicular line will go to the midpoint of the chord. Look, I will illustrate that also. There is a circle. Then you can see the center O and the chord AB. O is the center of the circle and AB is a chord. Then you draw OX perpendicular to AB. It is perpendicular. You can see the perpendicular symbol. Now if OX is perpendicular to AB, what will happen to AB? AB will be bisected. See, if OX is perpendicular to AB, then what will happen? AX become equal to XB. If OX is perpendicular to AB, then AX become equal to XB. Then AX is equal to XB. Now I have explained the two basic theorems related to chords of a circle. Shall I repeat it? First one. The straight line joining center to the midpoint of a chord will be perpendicular to the chord. Second one, the straight line drawn perpendicular to a chord from the center will bisect the chord. Right. Now they are the two theorems related to your grade 10 chords of a circle lesson. All the questions are associated with that concept. Now we will move on to angles. That also was in your grade 10 book. Angles of a circle. Let us see. You will remind. The angle subtended by an arc at the center of a circle is twice the angle subtended by the same arc on the remaining part of the circle. We look at the diagram and talk little bit extra. There is a circle. Then center is O. AB. AB is an arc, or even you can take it as a chord. Then AB arc will subtend one angle at the center. It is ACB angle. ACB angle. The same AB arc will subtend another angle at the circumference. That is known as ADB angle. Now, based on the AB arc, you can see two angles. One angle is subtended at the center C. Other angle is subtended at the circumference. Then the theorem says the angle subtended by an arc. What is the arc here? AB at the center of a circle is twice the angle subtended by the same mark on the remaining part of the circle. Then if the angle at D is A, the angle subtended at C at the center is 2A, twice. Then we can say ACB angle is equal to twice ADB angle. ACB angle is equal to twice ADB angle. Now we can develop a diagram for a major arc. Now this is based on AB minor arc. Then we can take AB major arc. Look, in blue color you can see in the second diagram AB major arc. This major arc will subtend one angle at the center, and you know it is a reflex angle. If it is based on major arc, the angle subtended at the center is a reflex angle. Then this one will subtend an angle at the remaining part of the circle. Now remaining part is a minor arc, which is shown in yellow color. That is ADB angle. Then we can see the angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. If the angle at D is taken as simple B, the angle subtended at the center is 2B. Then we can say ACB reflex angle. ACB angle reflex. That means reflex angle equal to twice ADB angle. Now both these diagrams will satisfy our basic theorem. Again look at the theorem. The angle subtended by an arc at the center of a circle is twice the angle subtended by the same arc on the remaining part of the circle. Now another important thing, you can apply this theorem only for circles. Only for circles. Sometimes they give just triangles which look like this theorem, but you can't apply this circle theorem to other diagrams. It is applied only for circles. Now we will move on to another theorem, the second theorem. The second theorem also about angles of a circle. They say the angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. What is the meaning of same segment? You have studied sectors and segments. This is about same segment. We will see. Now you can see a circle and a segment. This segment will subtend angles on the circle. Now one point is on the circle as C. Therefore it is ACB angle. Therefore AB will subtend one angle at the circumference, that is ACB angle. Based on the same AB, they will subtend another angle at D, that is known as ADB angle. Now you can observe very carefully what are the two angles. AB chord or AB segment have subtended two angles at the circle. One is ACB angle, other one is ADB angle. Now you can see these two angles clearly. What can you say about their magnitudes? Those two angles are equal. Those two angles are equal because these two angles are subtended based on the same segment AB. Then read the theorem again. The angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. According to that, we can say ACB angle equal ADB angle. Okay? Angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Shall I move on to the next slide? That is also about angles in a circle. You have studied that. You studied 3 theorems. Let's move on to that one. An angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Now it is a semicircle. Semicircle means you see the diameter. If an angle is subtended from the diameter, that angle becomes a right angle. Look at the diagram. Actually, we want only a semicircle for showing this, but based on a circle, I will illustrate the theorem. O is the center of the circle. AB is a chord. AB is a chord. But this AB has become the diameter, the longest chord. Longest chord is the diameter. This theorem is based on diameter. Angle in a semicircle is a right angle. Then you can see AB is the diameter, C is a point on the circumference. Then we can obtain ACB angle. What's the value? ACB angle is a right angle. Value is 90 degrees. ACB angle is a right angle. Now actually we can show this using the first theorem we studied under circles. What is the first theorem we studied? The angle subtended at the circumference is half of the angle subtended at the center, or the reverse order. Angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. Can you tell me the magnitude of AOB angle? What is the magnitude of AOB angle? AOB is a straight line, therefore AOB angle is 180 degrees. If AOB angle is 180 degrees, half of that is the magnitude of the angle subtended at the circumference. How much is half of 180 degrees? Half of 180 degrees is 90. Or you can directly show angle of a semicircle is 90 degrees because you have a theorem. Now we have studied again 3 theorems under the lesson angles in a circle. Shall I summarize them? First one, the angle subtended at the center of a circle is twice the angle subtended at the circumference by the same arc. Second theorem, angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. Third one, angle of a semicircle is a right angle. They are the 3 basic theorems you have studied and which you have to apply under angles in a circle, grade 10. Now I would like to go to a grade 11 lesson. It is area of rectilinear plane figures between parallel lines. In grade 10, first term, you have studied this as the lesson number 8. Area of rectilinear plane figures between parallel lines. Now look at this one. Parallelograms on the same base and between same pair of parallel lines are equal in area. Parallelograms on the same base and between same pair of parallel lines are equal in area. Same base and between same parallel lines. Look at this one. ABCD is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. AB EF is also a parallelogram, but both of them are defined based on AB. Therefore, we can say area of ABCD is equal to area of ABEF. What is the theorem? Parallelograms on the same base and between the same pair of parallel lines are equal in area. We will move on to another theorem. The other theorem, it is a relation between triangle and parallelogram. They say if a triangle and a parallelogram lie on the same base, they are also same base and between the same pair of parallel lines, then the area of the triangle is exactly half the area of the parallelogram. If a triangle and a parallelogram lie on the same base. Let us see what is the same base. Now there is a parallelogram. What is the parallelogram? What is the triangle? ABE is the triangle, ABCD is the parallelogram. Then the area of the triangle is half the area of the parallelogram. Therefore, area of triangle ABE equal to half of area of ABCD parallelogram. What is the theorem? If a triangle and a parallelogram lie on the same base AB and between the same pair of parallel lines, then the area of the triangle is exactly half the area of the parallelogram. Area of triangle ABE equal to half the area of ABCD parallelogram. That is second theorem. Third theorem, it is based on triangles. What is the theorem? Triangles on the same base and between the same pair of parallel lines are equal in area. Triangles on the same base and between same pair of parallel lines. What is the same base? Now one triangle is given in red color, ABC triangle. Another triangle given in green color, ABD triangle. Both of them are drawn on the base AB and between the parallel lines AB and DC. Therefore, we can tell area of triangle ABC equal to area of triangle ABD. Now we have studied three theorems. What is the first theorem? Parallelograms on the same base and between same pair of parallel lines are equal in area. Second one, area of a triangle on the same base and between same parallel lines equal to half of the parallelogram. Third one, triangles on the same base are equal in area. For all these theorems, you have to apply parallel lines. This happens only when opposite sides become parallel, right? With that one, we will move on to another theorem. This is also very familiar to you. You have studied this in grade 9 and 11. Pythagorean relation, or simply you consider it as Pythagoras relation. We will see what is Pythagoras relation. In a right angle triangle, the area of the square drawn on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the areas of the squares drawn on the remaining sides of the triangle which included the right angle. This is the full definition of Pythagorean relation. But I know my students are using some short methods. Now I will show you a diagram. Based on the diagram, if I ask you to tell about the Pythagoras relationship, what you say? You tell AB squared equal AC squared plus BC squared. That is not Pythagoras has told, but we use it for our convenience. In practice, we use that relationship, but Pythagoras has indicated this theorem in a different way. Same thing, but in a different way. Look at that one. In a right angle triangle, the area of the square drawn on the hypotenuse. Area of the square drawn on the hypotenuse. What is that square? ABFG is equal to the sum of the areas of the squares drawn on the remaining sides of the triangle which include the right angle. You know, Pythagoras relationship can be applied only for right angle triangles. In the right angle triangle, the longer side is the hypotenuse, here indicated as AB. Now, based on AB, they have drawn a square. Then there are two sides remaining which contain the right angle. You have drawn squares on those two sides also. Now, what about the area of ABFG? Area of BCDE added area of ACHJ. Then These two addition along equal to the area of ABFG, which is the square drawn on the hypotenuse. This is the original indication of the Pythagoras relationship. Read it. In a right angle triangle, the area of the square drawn on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the areas of the squares drawn on the remaining sides of the triangle, which include the right angle. Now, I will show you what you usually use. BC squared plus AC squared equal to AB squared. What is BC squared? That is the area of the square defined on BC. What is AC squared? AC squared is the area of the square drawn on AC. What is AB squared? AB squared is the area of the square drawn on the hypotenuse AB. That is the Pythagoras relationship. Now, I think you have studied about several basic concepts here about parallelograms, circles, area of rectilinear plane figures between parallel lines, and also Pythagorean relationship. Now, we will move on to some questions based on these theorems. This will enhance your knowledge. At the examination also, they give these type of questions. Actually, in the first paper, they will check basic knowledge about the theorems under geometry. Under geometry, how many short questions you get in the paper 1? You get 8 short questions. To answer them, this knowledge is very, very important. Okay, we will move on to the first question. Find A and B using the information given. Normally, when they ask you to find A and B, better to find in alphabetical order. First A, then B. No matter you find in another way, but normally try to adhere to that, but you will be getting marks if your angle magnitude is correct. Look at A. If you want to find the value of A, you can use any method, but here the most common method is alternate angles method, because there are parallel lines. When there are parallel lines, alternate angles are equal. Then you can say A equal 60 degrees, A equal 60 degrees. Now, we will find B. Let us see some method to find B. There will be several methods. I will present one method. If you have found the same answer using any correct method, then do not worry. Now, there is a triangle BOC. We know two angles. What is the sum of the interior angles of a triangle? 180 degrees. Based on that relation, you can find the magnitude of B angle. What is the magnitude of B angle? 180 degrees minus the two known angles. Now, B is equal to 180 degrees minus 85 degrees equal to 95 degrees. A is 60 degrees, B is 95 degrees. Right. Now, look at another question. I think this diagram is familiar to you. Based on the information in the figure. Now, what is the information given in the figure? You can see two parallelograms. One is tall and one is short, but both of them are drawn on AB. Both of them are drawn on AB. One parallelogram is ABEF. Other parallelogram is ABCD. Now, you can see two parallelograms on the same base, AB. Now, they ask us to answer the question like this, based on the information in the figure. They have marked several information in the figure. Based on those information, you have to answer these questions. What are the questions? Find the length of DC. Second one, find the magnitude of ABE. Third one, find the magnitude of ADC. Fourth one, find the magnitude of BCD. They have given the diagram, they haven't stated any information. You have to look at the diagram and carefully evaluate the information given. After that, answer their questions one by one. Now, can you see parallelograms? Yes, you can see two parallelograms. One is ABEF, other one is ABCD. Now, let us try to answer the first question. This is the diagram. Find the length of DC. Now, gradually, step by step, we are going to find the length of DC. Now, ABEF is a parallelogram. Therefore, we can tell EF equal to 5 centimeters, it is given, and also EF equal to AB. What is the theorem? Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Therefore, if EF equal 5, AB also 5. AB also 5. Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. If you know one side, the other side also having the same length. Therefore, you can tell AB is 5. Again, DC and AB also parallel because they are also opposite sides of a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram. Therefore, DC equal AB. Now, you know because EF is 5, AB also 5. Because AB is 5, you can tell DC also 5. Clear? Therefore, step by step, EF to AB, AB to DC, you found the value DC length is equal to 5 centimeters. That is the answer for their first question. Find the length of DC. We will move on to their second question. Second question, find the value of ABE. Look at ABE. ABE is belonging to a parallelogram. We will remove the unnecessary part. ABEF is a parallelogram. We know F angle as 45 degrees. If F angle is 45 degrees, B angle also should be 45 degrees. Reason? Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. You can remember, we studied that one just now. Therefore, because of the theorem, opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal, we can tell ABE angle equal to 45 degrees. Reason, opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. We will move on to the third question. Find the value of ADC. ADC. Now, we have found ABE angle 45. They have given EBC angle as 75. There also we will remove unnecessary lines. Then the diagram will be simple. With the lines here and there, it will be little bit complex. It will look like complex, but at the examination also, you should be careful to remove unnecessary lines and get the necessary one. Find the value of ADC. Now, ABCD is a parallelogram. We know that opposite sides are parallel. Then we are going to find the value of ADC. Now, what is the value of ABC angle? 45 degrees plus 75 degrees. ABC angle is equal to 120 degrees. ABC angle 120 degrees. If ABC angle is 120 degrees, ADC angle also should be 120 degrees. What is the theorem? Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. Then ADC angle equal 120 degrees. Then last one. Find the value of BCD angle. BCD. Again remove unnecessary lines. Then the diagram will be simple. Then let us see. Now you can see again ABCD parallelogram. You know ADC value as 120 degrees magnitude. Then we are going to find the magnitude of BCD angle. BCD angle is 60 degrees. I just told how to find. How to find BCD? D angle and C angle are allied angles. They are supplementary. They are supplementary because of the parallel lines. Then we can say 120 degrees plus C angle, BCD angle equal to 180 degrees. Then by simple calculation, take 120, subtract it from 180, then BCD angle is 60 degrees, right? We use the simple geometrical relationships for this. Now we will move on to another diagram. Little bit complex it looks like, but we will analyze one by one. ABCD and BCEF parallelograms are equal in area. ABF and CDE triangles are equal in area. AOB and COE triangles are equal in area. Based on this diagram, you have to prove these three things. First one, ABCD and BCEF parallelograms are equal in area. ABCD and BCEF parallelograms are equal in area. Let us remove. For analyzing, it is very simple. Now, based on DC and AE, they are parallel lines. Then we can see a parallelogram ABCD in blue color. Then we can see another parallelogram in yellow color. But both these parallelograms are drawn on BC. Then we can say ABCD and BCEF are equal in area. Area of ABCD parallelogram equal to area of BCEF parallelogram. Reason? They are located on the same base and between same pair of parallel lines. This is a theorem. You write the theorem as the reason for your indication. Another one. ABF and CDE triangles are equal in area. Let us remove unnecessary parts. ABF. ABF is belonging to ABCD parallelogram. CDE triangle is taken from BCEF parallelogram. Now there are two parallelograms. Those two parallelograms are equal in area. We have earlier shown it. Then what we are going to do? We know ABCD equal to area of BCEF. Areas are equal. Then we can remove a common part, common quadrilateral BCFD. Then when you remove it, the remaining two triangles become equal. Now you can say the two parallelograms are equal in areas by deducting the area of BCDE from both sides. From both parallelograms you subtract or you deduct BCDF quadrilateral. Then what is remaining is ABF triangle and CDE triangle. Then we can say once you subtract the quadrilateral, same common quadrilateral BCDF from both sides, you get the answer area of ABF equal to area of CDE. Okay? Then we will move on to the next question. AOB and COE triangles are equal in area. AOB and COE triangles are equal in area. The diagram here also we can remove unnecessary lines and we are going to prove what they want. What they want? They want AOB triangle and COE triangle are equal in area. Okay. Now, based on AB, there is a triangle and a parallelogram. Now, in blue color, you can see ADCB parallelogram. In red color, you can see ABO triangle. Now, both the parallelogram and triangle are on the same base, and between same pair of parallel lines. Therefore, you can say area of triangle AOB equal to half of the area of the parallelogram ABCD. Reason? They are located on the same base and between the same pair of parallel lines. Therefore, in one side you have taken AOB triangle and prove that it is equal to half the area of ABCD. Then we will go to the other one and look about the COE triangle. COE triangle. Now, COE triangle is based on CE and the parallel lines PO and CE. Then you can see the parallelogram and the triangle. Both of them are based on CE. Both the parallelogram and triangle are based on CE. Then our earlier theorem, area of the triangle COE equal to half the area of BCEF. BCEF. Now, AOB is equal to half of ABCD. COE is equal to half of BCEF. Then already we know ABCD and BCEF are equal in areas. Then you can tell, therefore, area of the triangle AOB equal to area of the triangle COE. Look at it again. What we did? Area of the triangle AOB equal to half of the area of ABCD. Again we show that area of the triangle COE is equal to half of the area of BCEF. Reason? Area of the triangle on the same base with the parallelogram is equal to half of the area of that parallelogram. After that, because ABCD equal to BCEF, after that in the previous question we proved that ABCD equal to BCEF. Now, there are two equal parallelograms and those two equal parallelograms have their halves. Then they also become equal. Therefore, we can tell area of AOB triangle equal to area of COE triangle. Now, look at the next one. The diameter AB of the circle centered at O and the chord CD perpendicularly bisect at M. Explain the reason for CM equal to MD. Find the magnitudes of A, B, C and D. Look at the first question. Explain the reason for CM equal to MD. Why CM equal to MD? Our basic theorem. What is the theorem? The perpendicular drawn from the center of a circle to a chord bisects the chord. Therefore, you can tell CM equal MD. Second part, the diameter AB of the circle centered at O and the chord CD perpendicularly bisect at M. Find the magnitudes of A, B, C and D. First of all, we can find the magnitude of A. What is the basic reason? Angles in the same segment of a circle. Second one, how to find B? Now, M angle is a right angle, C angle is 40. Based on the interior angles of a triangle, you can tell B is equal to 90 degrees minus 40 degrees equal to 50 degrees. that is B. Then we will go for C. C angle, angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. If the A angle is 50 degrees, the angle subtended at the center is twice that, 100 degrees. Finally, look at D. If you want to find the magnitude of D, you can use the C angle's magnitude as a right angle. The value of C angle is 90 degrees, A angle is 50 degrees, therefore D angle is equal to the subtraction 90 degrees minus 50 degrees equal to 40 degrees. The magnitude of D angle is 40 degrees. Right. Then my dear students, I think you have got the basic concepts of geometry, several theorems from this lesson. Please practice them, watch them again and again. If you miss something, you can watch them from the NIE channel, NIE YouTube channel, and practice them and try to go for a good result and be a master in geometry. Thank you very much.